Okay, it's time to start the program. Find your seat. First of all, thank you very much for attending the 12th Annual Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame. We appreciate it. Please check your cell phones, put them on vibrate or something. It's not good to have a cell phone ring when the inductee is giving their acceptance speech. If you don't know, restrooms are right out that door. And if you haven't had a chance, you missed out. There's some great memorabilia over there. Okay, begin with, I just want to thank the committee who put this together. Bonnie Dillard, Warren Whalen, George Watkins, Mike Corlett, Clovis Clinton, Clem Richardson, Jim Scatini, Steve Ish, Terry Espinoza, Jackie Whalen, and me. Yeah, they deserve that. Okay, just give you a real brief history. A bunch of us met in 2011, and we kind of talked about a Hall of Fame. And I don't know, there was 10 or 12 of us that met, and we figured out we needed to get a list, and we have no money, we have no place to meet, we have nothing. So we figured all that stuff out. And the first class was in 2013. We inducted 22, and I think 9 were deceased and 13 were living. And we went back all the way to the 20s and found a Salinas High football star, Tut Imlay. Most of you probably saw him play. I think he graduated from Salinas High in the 1920s. Then he went up to Cal, and then he left Cal and started barnstorming with a football team. And then he came down and coached Salinas High, I believe their first ever football team. Tut Imlay. So there'll be a quiz on that later. Okay, and you can go back to our website if you want to find, the website's great. And Robert Mendoza does our website, and he does a great job. Want to thank, no, go ahead. So somebody's clapping. Yeah. Our gold sponsors, Taylor Farms, Gorley Construction, and Alpha Omega, thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this without your support. And Kleinfeld Catering, they're the ones who did all the food. You guys did a great job. Okay, we have some dignitaries here, and when I call your name, please stand and remain standing if you can. Okay, these are current members of the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame. We'll start off. Jean Ashen. Where are you, Jean? Oh, there she is. Robin Baggett. Bob Burleson. Jose Celaya. Dave Cheney. Joe Chappell. Russ Critchfield. Chris Dahlman. And I'm not sure if Jennifer Deering made it or not. Terry Espinoza. Dave Esker. Gary Figueroa. Alex Golemich. Teresa Rainey Lee. Me. Okay, Terry Sonicson. Susan Springer Garcia. Danny Teresa. George Watkins. Jackie Whalen. Warren Whalen. And Mike Welch. Thank you. Okay, unfortunately, we lost a few people this last year or two who are in our Hall of Fame, and they passed on. Bob Kelly, former AD at Hartnell. Ron Critchfield. Ron's kind of being represented by his two son-in-laws, Marty Swanson and Craig Johnson. Could you stand wherever you are? Well, there they are. Those are Ron's son-in-laws. Dick Casper. Did Bobby Casper show up? Where is he? Well, that's his son. And just recently, I think in the last week or so, we lost Mike Silva from Gonzales football. He passed away. Not Mike Silva. Who is it? It's Steve somebody died. Steve Wiley. I'm sorry. Mike, if you're here, glad you're here. Sorry about that. Just a small mistake. Okay, and I am kind of excited in a personal way because I started teaching in 1972, 73 at San Venancio. And a lot of my first basketball players and so on were on Salinas High's 79 football team. And so I look, there must be 7 or 8 of those San Venancio kids are on that football team. So it's kind of neat to see some of them and see their recognition of their accomplishments. Okay, Clem. Hey, this is, no, not yet. No. He has to earn this. Okay, here's Clem. Oh, I'll get out of your way.
Thanks, Jim. We're going to show this promotional video for those that have been here last year. It's a little bit new, but we wanted to show that again this year, partly for appreciation for the progress that's been made. So it's 8 minutes, and hopefully it'll entertain you.
For over a decade, the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame has preserved our region's rich sports history, honoring those who've shaped it and inspiring those who follow.
Honor, preserve, inspire. The Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame was established in 2013 to recognize and honor the athletes, coaches, and community members who've contributed to the rich sports history of the Salinas Valley.
Seeing the plaques, there's so many of them, and there's so much diversity, different people, different sports, different accomplishments. I think it gives young people an inspiration that maybe I can get up there someday.
When I walk on this wall and I see it, I think it shows the kids of our community that, you know, their dreams can come possible. Like I can make that wall, I can be successful.
The committee is embarking upon an ambitious campaign to create a sign that will officially designate that wall as the permanent home of the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame.
I mean, the sign's necessary because it establishes the place and what this place is about.
Well, to be in the Hall of Fame means that you've accomplished something that you probably didn't think you were going to accomplish when you first started.
At one point, I was a 5-year-old kid here in Salinas, not knowing where my future could go. And if young kids of today can see the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame, see that there's people that have done things that they never thought they could dream of, that they know that that same kid in this valley could also reach those kind of goals.
For the little ones to be like, wow, you know, the ceilings may be higher than you thought. And go for it. Nobody's going to stop you but yourself.
Long after I'm gone, I'm going to have my picture up there. My family will go by and their kids will go by and they'll see the Gordon Dillard on there and they'll say, that's my cousin or whatever. And that means a lot to me.
Well, I think when the athletes from this area start to achieve at an extremely high level, and from our town, our small town, it's as if we went with them.
King City, Greenfield, Soledad, Gonzales, Chular, Salinas, and out to North County, Castroville. All of these cities are part of the Salinas Valley, and the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame ties us all together in accomplishment and achievement.
I think the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame is fantastic, and I think it gives an opportunity to see how many amazing athletes come out of this area. Then you start looking around and you go, wow, we really have a lot of great talent around here.
I grew up in Greenfield, went to King City High School, went to San Jose State, played some football, and was inducted into the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame. I've been inducted to a couple Hall of Fames, but this one is the most treasuring to me because it's home. It's the people around you that are the ones that helped you get there.
Salinas offers these kids so many different activities that they can do and be successful at, go off to college and have the opportunity to play. We've had some great athletes come out of Salinas that played at some great colleges, and this wall right here is the recognition to some of the great athletes that we have in this area.
An awesome experience to be a part of this 79 Salinas High Cowboys football team. It was like a family. A lot of deep love for everybody, and everybody went to work for everybody.
You know, we had, as it turns out, a Hall of Fame head coach, you know, in Mike Welsh. Plus we had really good assistant coaches, you know, Bob Burst and Chuck Felice. You know, they put their heart and souls into coaching us. You know, they're very hardworking, organized, and then they knew how to communicate with a bunch of teenagers, you know, to build a team around.
Just learning how to be a teammate, teamwork, learning how to win graciously, learning how to lose graciously, how to persevere when times get tough. You want to be a good citizen and be a part of our society. And I think sports is a great place to build those foundations that you need for that future life.
Athletics will enrich the lives of our young people. And I think we have the potential of making a huge impact in the future. If we can encourage kids to get involved in athletics and achieve.
To make this happen, we need the support of our community. By teaming up with the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame, you will ensure that our sports heritage will be preserved and inspire future generations.
That Wall of Fame represents a lot of people that got to the pinnacle, and not on their own, but through the achievements of their upbringing, their families. Now we want to go and take it to another level.
The main thing right now we're focusing on is a sign that is big enough to recognize the inductees on the plaques down below. And with that sign would be some recognition to the sponsors that help support and pay for that sign.
Part of life is giving back, and that's why I'm inspired by what they're doing here with the fundraising, because we're going to be giving back to this community.
That's one of the things that we all share is passion for this place that we grew up.
Being involved with my hometown, I was born here, raised here, went to Salinas High until I went up to college, and you know, it's a special place on earth in my mind, and whatever we can do to help, you know, foster what's gone on in the past, and then in addition, do something for the youth.
I think we've heard a lot about the youth of today and all the distractions, but I think sports is the avenue that can help get people away from their phones, get them out breathing some fresh air and running around and exercise.
Considering the year-round, seemingly non-stop activities and foot traffic at Rabobank Stadium, this is an extremely efficient way to positively affect our community. There are 3 levels of logo signage sponsorship opportunities available: $10,000, $5,000, and $2,500 levels. Of course, any contribution will be accepted. These funds will springboard us into our next project.
Once that goal is finished, anything after that we can keep raising would be money that we could set aside for scholarships.
We'd be able to direct it to helping sports and kids learn these same lessons that we learned as young people.
From San Ardo to Bradley, to Greenfield Solid, all the way up the road, there's a lot of kids out there that would appreciate that.
They're going to focus on youth and youth scholarships, which I'm totally supportive of, and I will be a participant in that. We need to take care of our youth.
Well, I think there's such a passion for sports in this area. We love it. It brings us together.
Your donation to our capital campaign will contribute to this great addition to our organization and make a lasting impact on our community. Your support is crucial. Please consider donating to help turn our vision into reality. Thank you for considering this request. With your help, we will help move the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame into the next decade.
So we're on a time clock. He's got some music over there. Briefly, we decided to show it again because, first off, to thank all the people that you saw on the sign in the video, but to all is, I don't know if anybody's looking today, but a lot of those spaces that were available then are now filled up. So there's only one at 10,000 and one at 5,000 that are left up there. So for all the people that you saw those names up there that have made that sign possible, how about a hand? Another reason for wanting to show the video is that I believe House of 8 Media, who does our video stuff, they do a very good job of helping us get our message out. Not only would we like to complete the donor board and maybe expand it, but our hope is that this endeavor expands our support base. There may be new supporters out there to make this celebration gotta go event. I'm going to thank Bonnie Dillard back there, who's a working tyrant, but her vision 4 years ago was for us to, bring it from the evening down to the afternoon, bring some music in, and let the banners, the plaques be a place. And I know this year is the largest group we've ever had, so thank you to all of you that found the time this afternoon to be there and to honor the people that are going in. You probably heard a lot of this, but we believe in the value of athletics in team building, camaraderie, life lessons and success, and working to improve. Inspiration for the future, goal setting, and the achievement of those goals. We believe it's important to celebrate what can be gained through focused work. We hope you share in this vision and possibly are willing to join in to be part of our mission support. We kind of go hand to mouth every year, so it'd be nice to have a base to start from. So please consider making a pledge today. The payment can be spread out over 3 years. If you raise your hand, one of our Storm girls will come by and get your information so that one of our board members can follow up with you. And take this opportunity to thank the Storm girls who add such a lot to this event. Love seeing those Storm girls. And also to the Gills Academy boys. I got 3 of them back there that helped me out with my tents out there. But the Gills Academy on the setup and the put down. So thank you all. They deserve both. And I think both of those groups indicate what I think what we're trying to accomplish here, and that's hope for the future. Okay? So, I didn't hear the music, so I succeeded in that part. So I'd like to introduce our MC for today, Jeff White. Paul MacDonald and I got to, I'm sure most of the people in this room got to hear this interview on KRML a few weeks ago. And if you didn't, I don't know, Jeff, you can find out is there a way to get on the thing again? Oh yeah, okay. So that's a good thing about modern technology. We can find it. But here's Jeff White from KRML radio station, our MC for today.
We've got another quick announcement from Jim.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm so excited to be here today. A lot of you that might know Caramel might think of, oh, you're the music guy or the community guy, and both of those are true, but I'm a sports junkie. Before I moved out here about 16 years ago, I started and ran an ESPN radio station back east on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And on that note, I can't tell you how pleasantly surprised I was to see an NC State Wolfpack flag up here. Third generation, go Pack. Pretty excited to see that in here. That nice little boost there. But I'm a huge fan of sports. And not only is it just fun, we've got football season coming up. We all know that Friday nights, getting together with the community, Saturdays, Sunday, college and NFL. One of the things I love about it is sports brings people together. And it teaches, I mean, we're the perfect example here. We're all here today. This is what tied us all together. You see how it affects kids' lives, how it teaches them hard work, communication, just so many good things. And I know sometimes people just think sports is just an extracurricular activity. I would beg to differ. I think it's a whole lot more than that. And we've got a lot of folks that are being inducted tonight that are perfect examples of that. Our first one, when I was going through and doing the research for all of our inductees, so many times I was just blown away, not just for the accomplishments, but some of the stories that go with that. And our first one today, Ed Brown, this man had a career. He began in 1948 as a quarterback at Hartnell. He was 6'2", 200 pounds, pretty big. Now that's like a middle-sized quarterback. Back then that was huge. He was from Slow. He quickly earned the nickname of Bullseye. For his passing accuracy. He threw 22 touchdowns for the 8-2 Panthers and was chosen as an All-American junior college player. The next year, it was 1948, he got drafted by the Marines. He played for their team, too, while he was at it. And then when he got done with that, he transferred to the University of San Francisco. And here's where another great story comes about community. In his first season, he completed only 18 passes, but for 432 yards, 4 touchdowns. Also caught 7 touchdown passes, intercepted 8 passes, was the team's leading scorer with 56 points. He also ranked 4th in the nation in punting. I mean, he never left the field. I'm pretty sure they just kept him on there the whole time. And he was considered one of the team's best blockers as well. In 1951, he quarterbacked the infamous undefeated, untied, and uninvited. And if you're unfamiliar with this story, it's a great one. The Dons were 9-0 that season. The USF roster included 9 future NFL players, 5 of who would become Pro Bowlers, 3 who would be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, but with 2 African-American players on the roster, Burl Toller and Ollie Matson. The team was told by the Gator Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl that they could receive an invitation as long as they left those players home. Well, the Dons decided that that wasn't going to happen, so they just declined the invitations. And this team that was undefeated took a stand. It's just a great story. Meanwhile, Brown continued to play football after that. He was drafted in the 6th round of the 1952 draft by the Chicago Bears. Had a 12-year career, which included 2 Pro Bowl appearances in 1956. He led the NFL in passing efficiency, guided the Bears to the NFL championship game where they lost to the Giants. Played his last 3 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers and passed for a career-best 2,982 yards and 21 touchdowns in 1963. For his career, he passed for 15,960 yards, 102 touchdowns, while also rushing for 960 yards and 14 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for tonight's first inductee, Ed Brown. And we have his daughter, Brooks, coming up to accept the award.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm Brooke, obviously, Ed's daughter. I'm so excited to have been contacted and invited to come and share this day and reminisce about his college years and his football accomplishments with the other Salinas Valley Hall of Famers and their guests. I know that he would have been honored to have been here to accept this award himself. After his football career, which consisted of 12 years of playing for the NFL, he owned and ran a liquor store in Grover Beach, California. After 16 years, he retired and moved to northeastern Oregon, where I currently live. He spent his retirement years playing golf and helping coach the local high school football teams. Some things I remember when I was a kid was watching my dad autograph memorabilia for fans who had sent things to our home. He was always happy to visit his days with people. Another fond time growing up was when he would play catch with my brother and I, and he would throw the ball and we would tell him, "Dad, you're throwing it too hard." And he'd say, "I'm barely throwing it." When in reality, it felt like I was catching the winning touchdown in my backyard, hence the name Bullseye Brown he had acquired in his day. Despite the nicknames and his records, he was always just Dad to me. My family and I would like to thank the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame for the opportunity to be here today to accept this induction. Thank you.
You've got some hardware. Don't walk off too quick. Our next inductee, incredibly accomplished, Cathrein Silva. Yes, yes. She is the second woman golfer to be inducted into the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame. She hit her first golf ball at the age of 8, not far from here, and when this place was actually a golf course. So full circle moment today. Throughout high school, she was a standout golfer for North Salinas on the boys team, first to win the NCGA CIF girls title twice. As a high school senior in 1985, she was runner-up at the California Women's State Amateur Tournament held at Pebble Beach. And from high school, she received a full ride to play for the USC Trojans. During her freshman year, she finished 17th individually, helped her team place 3rd at the 86 NCAA championships. In her senior season in 1990, she earned all Pac-10 honors. Upon graduating from USC, she turned pro. In 1990, began playing the California Mini Tours. In 91, was successful at her first qualifying attempt to compete in the 92 LPGA Tour. She would play professionally a total of 7 years and competed 2 more seasons on the LPGA, along with European and Asian tours. She qualified for 2 U.S. Women Opens in 92 and 93. In 93 at Crooked Stick Golf Course, she was even par after 2 days and was in the afternoon leader groups. That will always stand as the highlight in her professional career. She made a 60-foot birdie putt on the 18th hole in front of a full grandstand. She experienced the roar of the crowd and felt complete. I think most of us would feel that way after such a moment. At the conclusion of her tour in 96, she began the process of becoming an LPGA Class A instructor. Today, she uses that certification to teach while also serving as the women's golf coach at Sierra College in Rockland. She's also a member of the Sierra College Athletic Hall of Fame as the coach of its 2016 Cal State Golf Championship team. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Cathrein Silva.
I'm a little short. So he's completely right. Sherwood Greens, which was the golf course in where we're at right now, is where I started. So that's where my dad placed the first golf club in my hand. I played my first tournament there, and I had 2 hole-in-ones on that golf course by the age of 10. So being back tonight is more, it feels like coming home again for sure. And it's an incredible honor. I want to thank those who nominated me and selected me, and those that took the time to put on such an incredible event tonight. So to come back all these years later, surrounded by so many people, a lot of my family are here in this journey. It's almost hard to put into any words. But no journey like mine happens alone. First and foremost, my dad. Again, he was the one that put the first club in my hand, and he was there at every step of the way. He probably didn't even know that this is where we would be at this point. So thank you, Dad. I also had a lot of good mentors that were at Sherwood Greens and also at Salinas Fairways, thus the community. Cotton Kaiser, my golf pro from the start, would get so nervous when he would watch me, would hide behind trees. And then also Glenn Stubblefield. He was at the fairways, he fitted me for golf clubs and kept my equipment the way it should be to keep going on the LPGA Tour. And then there was my high school teacher, Margie Silvera. I played on the boys' team in high school because I didn't have girls golf, and I hated it. The boys were not very nice. And I came in one day to see Margie, and I told her, that's it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to play on the boys' team. I'm going to go play softball for Mr. Naroyan. She sat me down and said, no, you can't do that. I said, why not? She says, you just can't. You have more things going for you in golf, and you need to keep this going. So when I look back at that conversation, Margie, let's just say I'm glad you won that argument. I also had the best counselor in high school, Mr. Don Neergord. He was always thinking ahead. I was maybe a sophomore. I don't even think I made it to my junior year yet. And he was coming to me saying, have you sent out prospect letters? I'm like, prospect letters? What's that? He goes, to colleges. I'm like, I can go to college and play golf? So thank goodness he was on it, and his belief in my future helped me believe in it too. Also, I have to say thanks to the community at Salinas Golf and Country Club, which is now Crazy Horse. When I qualified for the LPGA Tour, they welcomed me and provided me with an honorary membership and practice privileges while I prepared for the tour. This didn't just give me simple access to a golf course, but it was a community telling me, we're behind you. When I think about my competitive years, some of my favorite memories actually came from right here in Salinas. I talked about the high school golf. It was against the boys and I didn't like it, but in the end, it taught me grit. It taught me to compete, and it taught me that if I wanted to succeed, I had to earn it. I also played in the California State Women's Amateur Finals my senior year. We were fortunate enough we got to play Pebble Beach. So I think $100, you got your entry fee, you got a practice round, you got about 5 rounds of golf, and I made it to the finals. But my dad forgot my golf shoes. So my mom and my sister had to drive all the way back to Salinas, and I was lucky enough one of the girls let me borrow her shoes. And when I was on the second hole, my mom and my sister came in the car and drove along the road that was right next to the hole, and my sister had my shoes outside of the window. Kimmy, your shoes! I was like, okay. So we got the shoes, and I did lose that match, but it was the family that was behind me there, making sure I at least had my shoes to finish out the round. The Little People's Golf Tournaments at Sherwood Greens, my first golf tournament. I cold topped every first shot on every first hole. Cried the whole 9th hole in because I thought I wouldn't do that. My mom was hysterical, couldn't come and see me or anything. When I got in and I was looking at the scoreboard, 3rd place. How'd that happen? So I said, well, let's keep this going. If I can do 3rd place after topping every drive, I'm sure I can finish better down the road. My last year at Little People's Golf Tournament, I almost won both overall titles for the boys and the girls that year. Lastly, there was a tournament at Salinas Golf and Country Club. It was called the Charlie Culver Junior Masters. I won a green jacket. So that's the best thing that ever happened. Yes. Looking back on it now, I realize those moments were helping prepare me for everything that came later, because golf has always been much more than just a sport. The golf course became my classroom. It taught me discipline. It taught me resilience. It taught me intense focus and mental toughness. It taught me how to deal with a tough loss, how to put a bad shot behind me, and how to stand over the next shot and start again. And perhaps, most importantly, it taught me to trust my instincts, to think for myself, and to make my own decisions when there wasn't anyone else who could do it for me. For the young athletes here tonight, I hope you take those lessons with you. Embrace the grind, listen to people who believe in you, and learn from your mentors. But don't be afraid of tough competition. Don't run from the moments that challenge you. Those are often moments that make you stronger. And remember that success isn't always about winning the next tournament or hitting the perfect shot. Sometimes success is simply refusing to quit. I'm incredibly proud of everything golf has allowed me to accomplish, but I'm even more proud of where I came from. I've always been proud to represent Salinas, from those early junior tournaments to high school golf, to competing at the highest levels of amateur golf and eventually the professional ranks. I carried Salinas with me every step of the way. The community helped shape me, the community sponsored me, the community believed in me. And tonight, being inducted into the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame feels like coming full circle. So to everyone who played a part in this journey, my family, my teachers, my coaches, my mentors, my friends, and members of all the community, and everyone here tonight, thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for remembering my journey. And thank you for allowing me to come home tonight to the place where it all began. I may have started my journey by hitting my first golf ball right here, but I learned along the way that the most important part of the journey isn't where the ball ends up, it's the people who stand beside you along the way. Thank you, Salinas. It's an honor I will carry with me forever, and I am proud then, now, and always to call Salinas home.
And we're going to eventually have all the inductees come back up at the end and get a big picture together, but we're going to keep things rolling. Our next inductee, Paul MacDonald, another accomplished resume here, yes. He earned his degree in 1974 at the University of Pacific, where he was a 4-year starter at second base, team captain for the UOP baseball team, set the stage for the Palma High grad to return to Salinas and began a coaching career that lasted 45 years. He coached football and baseball at Palma for 12 years and the next 29 years at Salinas High, coaching football, baseball, tennis, and was the athletic director for 4 years because why not? Coach Mac is a member of both the Salinas and Palma High School Hall of Fames. Paul started his coaching career at his alma mater with baseball at Palma in '77, where he played football, basketball, and baseball. As baseball coach, one of his players was Dave Esker, who went on to become head coach of Cal Berkeley and Stanford. After coaching Palma to the 1985 and 86 league titles, he went to Salinas High, coaching mostly baseball and football then. He was varsity baseball coach for 11 years, winning the league title in '90. One of his players, Xavier Nady, reached the major leagues. Starting in 2011, he spent 3 years helping the Hartnell College softball team, and in '98, he was the assistant coach for Hartnell baseball. His passion for coaching and teaching impacted the lives of student athletes, making him a respected figure in the Salinas community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for Paul MacDonald.
It's an honor to be here. I want to thank the Hall of Fame for all that they did for me in these last couple of days. It's just been actually his last month or so being a part of Clem and I over on the radio, and just the whole thing that took place was just a great way to begin this time, and to see all of you and all my friends and fellow coaches. It was just an honor to be a part of what's going on there. I want to begin with thankful memories to my many mentors that I had, mentor coaches and teachers that taught me the way to do things and believed in me and gave me the confidence to move on from myself. And to all the coaches that I had the pleasure of being a part of, and I want those coaches to realize that I loved every single minute of the time we had there. Your unwavering guidance and to our teams helped me to realize that coaching was more than just blowing a whistle and how many W's and L's we had. But it was working together as a staff, working together as a team. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping our teams grow and think beyond what is possible and reach those goals. Next to the teams and players, of all the people that I coach, the one thing that I found to be true with many of these athletes, they may have worn different colors jerseys and may have come from different points in schools, but all of them are hard workers and totally dedicated to what they had to do. I've been so honored to coach them, and they've been part of my life. You know, coaching was the easy part with them. In fact, the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. And I know my players would say that they learned a lot from me, but boy, there were some people that I had the pleasure of coaching. Dave and Eric Esker out there and Xavier. And I didn't coach them, they coached me. And to all my players, without each of you, I would not be up here accepting this award. But I do accept it in your honor. To my family, my wife Nancy, I can't remember when you were not there, hon. If you were ever on any of the teams, she was there in the stands rooting for you. She knew all the plays, knew all the signals, and sometimes in excitement, she'd call out a play before I did. And of course, I had to do the wipe it off thing, so love you, Nan. To my daughter Janie, who was born into sports before she could even walk. By the time she was 6, I often received post-game speeches from her, which often included about my salty language on the sideline. And she insisted that I go to God and repent right there in the living room. I can still say she's my greatest fan, and I was honored to coach her at Hartnell for a couple of years. She was a blessing and still is. Thank you, Pumpkin. To my brothers, Matt and Paul Echeverria, it's not surprising to see you both here. You've always encouraged me. You've been supporting me not only in my sports, but in my everyday life. And what a privilege I had to coach you both. To my godson, Darren, love you. To Don and Cindy, my faith coaches and my pastor and his wife, who reminded me that the Lord gave me these gifts to coach, and the opportunities that I had at the 3 high schools and at Hartnell was because of him placing me there. And the people that crossed my path, it was because of him. And the love of the game and the passion that I had for doing what I needed to do. To my Savior, Jesus Christ, I do all of I do. I praise and coach for you. Thank you. I'm thankful for all these memories. They have a lasting imprint in my life, and I'll never forget any one of you, all of you, and thank you much for what you've done, and God bless you all.
We're going to keep it going. Every one of these is hard to top, but we're going to keep trying. Our next inductee is Marc Matock. As one of the most heralded athletes to ever come out of Monterey County, there wasn't much that Marc couldn't do. Seems to be a theme today. Whether on the football field, basketball court, or even on the track, Marc's athletic resume is beyond compare. At Palma, Marc earned 4 varsity letters in track, 3 each in football and basketball. His team won 3 league and CCS titles, 1 small school state team of the year honor in football, 1 league, 2 NorCal, 1 state championship in basketball, 4 league banners in track. Catch my breath. Individually, Marc was named the All-League and All-Monterey County football team 3 times, County Defensive Player of the Year during the senior season, and qualified for the prestigious California State Track and Field meet. In the shot put, he remains one of the few athletes from the Salinas Valley to compete and achieve at a high level in 3 different sports. While Marc was obviously very versatile, The classic three-sport athlete, he made a name for himself on the gridiron. Heavily recruited as a defensive lineman, Marc eventually chose USC over schools like Oklahoma and Nebraska. During his time as a Trojan, the track coaches incessantly recruited him to join the team, an offer he ultimately declined as he felt he needed to focus on football. As a senior in '98, Marc earned a starting position, became one of the mainstays of the USC defense. That same season, as he battled through an ankle injury, Marc was honored with the Davis Teskey Award, an award given to the Trojan football player who best exemplifies leadership, effort, toughness, locker room impact, team spirit, and resilience. As one of the most decorated athletes to graduate from Palma High School, Marc was inducted into the school's Hall of Fame in 2023. To this day, he's regarded as one of the top football players and all-around athletes ever to come out of Salinas Valley. Let's give a big round of applause for Marc Matock. Okay.
Bigger than life, gentle giant, fearless, and probably the best human being I ever knew. He was a true gentleman.
Tenacious, extremely passionate in everything he's done, and an amazing father.
Oh, amazing father,
and husband.
Amazing husband.
Jeff knew him first, but we've both known him since we were in elementary school. We've played just about every sport imaginable with him. Junior high, he was actually too big to play tackle football, so he played flag football. But it only took about 6 games to realize he was different than the rest of us. Not only was he bigger than the rest of us, but he was as athletic as the running backs and the quarterbacks and the defensive backs at twice their size. So we knew he was going to be a special athlete.
As he got older and stronger and bigger, he excelled at every sport. Track, basketball, obviously football. It became evident that he was well above the rest of us in athletic ability and strength.
You know, Marc ended up entertaining offers from virtually every Pac-10 school, and then ultimately accepted a full ride scholarship to USC. You know, at USC, the track coaches begged him to come throw the shot. And so here he is at the University of Southern California, and they want him to be a 2-sport athlete. That's how dominant and, you know, how athletic he was.
I think he felt an enormous weight on his shoulders, a kid coming out of Palma, you know, a small school in Salinas, a single mom growing up with 3 boys under her umbrella. He felt a lot of the weight to take care of her and us on his shoulders. You know, when he got hurt, I think he also felt the weight of the world come crashing down. And just like Marc always did, he got back up and he got back out in that field in less than 4 weeks. And that work ethic of his carried him through his life, man. And everything he did, he excelled. And he never quit. There was no quit in him.
His senior year, he was voted the most inspirational player on the USC team. And there's only 2 awards at USC football that are voted on by the team: the most valuable player and the most inspirational player. So his teammates, they saw him as the most inspirational leader on that team.
With his leadership and his athletic ability, it was really hard not to follow that type of leader, because if you were going in the trenches, he was one of the guys you wanted to go with.
I was an offensive lineman at USC. Obviously, Marc was a defensive lineman. So we competed every single day, and it's amazing that we had this relationship outside of the field. There was a particular time we would go at it, and we brought this energy to this practice, and it became this just all-out brawl. Me and Marc throwing punches and fighting each other because it was a competitive nature. And he broke my finger. He bit it. We've laughed about it for years. And he's in surgery, getting his shoulders worked on, and I'm getting my finger work done at the same time, and we're in the same hospital.
People wanted to be around him, whether that was on the football field, on the basketball court, or at a party after the game. Everybody wanted to be around Marc all the time. They respected him, but they also didn't want to mess with him either.
It was an honor just to live in his wake. He was a bigger than life character, but he always had time for me. He always made me strive to be better and to work harder and to be a better person.
He was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. We were both scared to death of what each other were going to say in those best man speeches. That tells you what I thought of him.
From his sports career into his business career at Bridgepoint Technologies, he became a leader really fast and became top salesman. That just goes to show, just outside of sports, carried over into his life, and everything that he touched, basically, he was able to, not turn into gold, but basically pretty close.
Marc was a great football player and even a better human being.
Marc was, he was my brother, but he was my superhero. He was my mentor. He was, in a lot of ways, my father figure, and it's a tough loss, no doubt about it. Always and forever be missed, but not forgotten. That's for sure. There's no forgetting Big Marc. We sure miss you every day.
We love you, Marc. We love you, man.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marc Campion. As you could see, Marc and I, we shared a special friendship. So it's an honor to speak here on his behalf and on behalf of his wife, Megan, his two boys, Lincoln and Carson, and his brother, Chris. First, I want to thank the committee for acknowledging Marc's historic athletic career here in the Salinas Valley. Thank you for that, and congratulations to the rest of the inductees today, especially Coach Clem. So, listen, Marc's football career was well chronicled, and you guys heard all about it, right? League championships and all league honors. They didn't mention he was selected to go play in the state all-star game after his senior year down in LA, of which when he came home from that game, he told me, he said, you know what, I can do it. I can go compete with these kids. When you're a small school kid from Salinas, you're not sure, but that all-star game in LA let him know that he was the best of the best. So his football career was incredible, and he's undoubtedly one of the greatest football players to ever come out of this valley. But during the reception, you might have noticed out on the wall out there, he's already a member of this Sports Hall of Fame. Okay, he was inducted with the 1992 Palma basketball state championship team that he was a member of. And you might have also heard in the video, he also qualified to go through the shot put in the state finals his senior year. So his junior year, he was on a football team that was ranked #1 in the state at the end of the year. His sophomore year, he played on a state championship basketball team. And his senior year, he threw the shot put in the state finals in the track and field. And I don't think there's ever been an athlete from the Salinas Valley that's competed at a state level in 3 different sports. And I think when you look at that, it's hard to argue that Marc possibly is the greatest high school athlete to ever come through the Salinas Valley. I don't know that what he did in 3 sports will ever be done again. It's an incredible accomplishment. But when you look at Marc's truly historic athletic career, his legacy is really not about athletics. Marc's legacy is all about the mark that he left on others, that indelible mark, the way he made people feel, okay, when he was around them. So when you look at that award his senior year at USC, most inspirational player on the team, he wasn't voted the MVP. He wasn't voted the best defensive player. He was voted the most inspirational. So of those 75 players, they basically said, he is our leader. He's who we want to be around. He inspires us to be better, and when we're standing next to him, we feel like we can accomplish anything. And I think that's what Marc's legacy is all about, is that way he made other people feel when he was around them. And if you were fortunate enough to be in that small circle of friends and family, He made you feel wonderful all the time. Jeff mentioned it. His business career was no different than the rest of his life. He was incredibly successful in his business career, and he did it with the same tools that he did everything else. He was incredibly charismatic. He had $1 million smile. It was full of shit at times, but everybody wanted to be around him, and everybody wanted to be next to him. And that's what made Marc successful. And I think, again, when you look at his legacy, you know, the most important part of his legacy is at table 9 right now over there. His wife, Megan, was his greatest treasure. To his boys, Lincoln and Carson, he was a present, always present, loving father that I know they have so many, many, many wonderful memories of. But his legacy is not athletics. His legacy is Marc the man, and how he made other people feel when he was with them. So I just want to close by thanking the committee again for acknowledging Marc's athletic accomplishments and inducting him into this Hall of Fame for the second time now. But for the rest of you, I'd like you to know that Marc the man, Marc the husband, Marc the father, Marc the brother, Marc the friend, that was a Hall of Fame career as well. He was a Hall of Famer in life. Thank you.
All right. Another one that's hard to follow up. We're going to continue to do our best. Our next inductee is Kim Reeder. Kim's power pitching for the Notre Dame High School softball team reached a level that gave her state and national recognition. Among her high school honors, and it's a long one, California Gatorade Player of the Year, 3-time NFCA First Team All-American, 3-time First Team All-State, California Small School Player of the Year, California Medium School Player of the Year, California Sophomore of the Year, San Jose Mercury News Player of the Year, and Sports Focus Player of the Year. Didn't stop there, though. Kim pitched Notre Dame to 4 Central Coast Section CCS titles. She did not allow an earned run her sophomore season. Was named California Gatorade Player of the Year, again, her senior year, with a record of 25-2 and a batting average of .440. She then went on to Ohio State, where she was named National Fast Pitch Coaches Association All-American while pitching the Buckeyes to the Super Regionals for the first time in school history. As a starting pitcher, as a sophomore, she pitched the Scarlet in grade 2 to win the 2007 Big Ten regular season and tournament championships, landing her in the Ohio State Hall of Fame. She was then offered a contract to play professionally in Italy, and she had a career ERA of 1.81 with 1,247 strikeouts and 104 innings for Union Fermanagh. She stayed involved in softball as a pitching instructor and recruiting liaison, launching her own business, 7 Strong Softball, where she has helped many into the college ranks. Let's give a big round of applause for Kim Reeder.
Hello, thank you all for being here, and I really appreciate the induction and consideration from the committee, so thank you for having me. I want to give a lot of thanks tonight. I just got inducted into the Hall of Fame in Ohio State back in October, and I absolutely had a blast. So thank you. OH, I saw somebody with an Ohio State hat on in here, and I didn't get to introduce myself. There we go, OH. All right, so first of all, I have to thank my parents and my siblings. So I had 3 brothers, and growing up with them, as you can imagine, being the only daughter was absolute hell. But playing around with them and being competitive with them in all the sports, tennis, golf, soccer, actually like soccer better, but my parents forced me down the softball track. They actually said I was better at softball than soccer, even though my heart was with soccer. So fun little story there. But thank you for catching, driving, most importantly, funding all the athletics that me and my brothers were involved in, and trading your vacations for the long tournaments and the long drives back home after wins and losses. I want to thank Kenny Gardner, rest in peace. He was my pitching coach for about 10 years, coached myself and Monica Abbott, another Hall of Fame inductee. and couldn't have done it without him. He taught me my foundation and saw potential in myself before I even did. Salinas Storm, before it was California Storm, they gave me my start in travel softball after Bobby Sox, so can't thank them enough. When it came to high school, I absolutely had a blast at Notre Dame. I was a little hesitant coming from public school to go into an all-girls school, but absolutely loved it, appreciated not having to wear any makeup or worry about my clothes rolling out of bed in the morning. Joe Given and Tom Tompkins were two incredible men's fast pitch pitchers and made practice an absolute blast for me and quite a few other girls at the time. So throwing BP and getting experience from them and knowledge from them is something that I will always cherish. Joe Given is also in the Hall of Fame as well. So I think it kind of falls close. Apple falls from the tree? Wait. Doesn't fall. And so Joe is a great pitch caller and the best BP thrower, and I had no better time than in high school, felt no pressure and played absolutely carefree back then. Ohio State was a different story, but my best days were definitely in Salinas and in high school. I also want to give a shout out to Gabe Romero and Dave Flores. I was actually on, despite all my accolades, I was on JV softball my freshman year, which doesn't happen very often if you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I had to take a little humility back then, but I had Aaron Segala ahead of me. And so my very first game was against Monica Abbott and North Salinas as a freshman. And sadly, I threw a no-hitter, but I lost. So yeah, struck out a lot of batters, but my catcher was brand new to me, and she didn't like my drop ball too much, so we lost on a couple of errors. And then in travel ball, I want to thank Scott Smith and Jim Mayhew. They had a huge influence on me. And then in college, Erica Beach taught me everything I didn't know about pitching going forward. So teachers and faculty at Notre Dame were an absolute blessing. Terry Sonicson, also in the Hall of Fame. I think we're seeing a trend here, okay? She was the athletic director for us at Notre Dame, and I was in her office every single day, and she was a blessing to me. My friends and family during high school years that supported and pushed me, my best friend Kim Kimes, and then the Villarins. I have Clara here. Alexis was my best friend and a fellow travel softball player. Rochelle Morales, Serena Benavente, another Hall of Fame inductee, and then Nancy Neal and Melissa Smith helped me along my journey. So thank you, Salinas, for being my first home and allowing me to thrive athletically and now giving me the ability to guide today's youth. I actually have one of my pitching students. They're so close to me. I treat all of them like family. She drove 3 hours from Santa Rosa after a basketball game this morning to attend. So thanks, Noemi and Maya and Dina, for being here today and allowing me to guide today's youth to similar futures. So thank you again.
All right. We've got another big one here. I've been fortunate enough to get to know him a little bit, have him on our show. Clem Richardson Jr. Yes, I know we're going to get some rounds of applause for Clem, and we've got a video as well here in a moment. Clem has exemplified a lifelong passion for athletics, grounded in integrity, faith, and service to the Salinas Valley community. A 1967 graduate of Palma, he earned MVP honors in football, basketball, and golf, and at Stanford, he lettered in football and golf. Athletic competition taught him important life lessons that he continued to share with many of you in this room. He accomplished golf career includes numerous amateur victories, the 1975 California State Championship medalist title, the 91 Salinas City Championship, and an extraordinary 11 club championships at Corral de Tierra Country Club. Yet his impact reaches way beyond the competitive level. As a longtime coach at Palma, Richardson guided his teams to sustain success, including multiple league championships, a CCS title, appearances in the Northern California Finals, and a state final appearance. Guided by his Catholic faith, he instilled values for good citizenship. His teams were known not only for winning, but for demonstrating respect for one another, their opponents, and the courses that they played. Committed to service, he dedicated decades to coaching youth sports, mentoring young people, and giving back to our community. Through every role, Richardson has embodied the pursuit of excellence, showing that true greatness is defined by character, humility, and a life lived in service to others. Got a little video here for Clem right now.
could be admitted into the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame for his snarl. It's intimidating. And we still see it today, mostly out on the golf course.
Clem was a psychology major at Stanford, so he fully is aware of the power of his snarl.
1966, 1967, up to that point in time, Palma had never beaten Salinas High in basketball. And another Salinas Valley Hall of Famer, Ron Critchfield, he was the coach. He took the job at Palma, promising that Palma would beat Salinas High. We had 2 games that year. The Cowboys squeaked out a win the first game, and the second game at Palma's gym. At that time, Clem was in Critchfield's doghouse, and it was a very close game. The Cowboys leading at halftime, and Critchfield went to the bench, and Clem lit it up. And he poured in 15 points in the second half to secure the win. And at the end of the game, he had the Cowboys saying, "Who let the hog out?"
Let me say a couple things about Clem's golf ability too, though, okay? We all know that he played at Stanford for 4 years, which was quite a feat back in the day. He was medalist in the 1975 California State Amateur Tournament, and if anybody knows how difficult that tournament is, what he achieved as a medalist is incredible. I think it was 1990 he won the Salinas City Championship, and it was pouring rain that day. And to the point where at the end of 18 holes, they called it off because the greens were all puddled up. Played the next 18 holes. It was 36-hole final. He had an 8-up lead after the first 18. He was moaning about the fact he had the whole week to worry about how to blow an 8-up lead, but he won 10 and 8. I'm excited for Clem to come into the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame. You know, what he did at Palma High School as a coach was, to me, it's legendary. He won 2 league titles right away, then he missed. And then he won, I think 16 in a row, 18 out of 19 league titles. That's his, I don't know if there's any coach in any sport in Salinas Valley, in the history of Salinas Valley, has ever done something like that.
Coach Clem had a couple rules. The first one, obviously, have fun. Just his sense of humor, and his ability to connect with so many different types of personalities.
Because he was so good as a golfer when he took over the job at Palma High School, back in those days, I think he was 50, 51 years old. He could beat the kids. So when you're a golfer with that kind of resume, it resonates with the kids. So when he spoke, they would listen.
I was a 14-year-old freshman on Palma's golf team, and we were prepping to play NorCal finals at Clem's home course, Crowley-Tira, also my home course. We were sitting around a dining room table in front of his wife and the rest of the team, and I wasn't paying attention. We were going over the holes, and I kind of just told him, like, this is pointless. I mean, I've played this course hundreds of times. Like, what are you going to teach me? And he kind of just looked at me and said, I've been playing this course for 50 years, won 11 club championships. Like, what do you mean that I can't teach you about it? And I didn't listen to him. I hit the ball behind a couple of trees that I shouldn't have, and he wanted me to hit different clubs, and we ended up missing it by 1 shot, which hurt.
Coach Clem's commitment to the team and to the kids is, kind of second to none.
He did a good job of kind of bringing the team together, whether it was at his house, at dinners after every match, picking up kids from school, taking them to the course, dropping them back at school, and then going home to his wife, Barbara. He loves pizza. We'd go to pizza after multiple of our matches, and I didn't realize he was paying for any of this food at the time. And it was not until a couple years ago when I was a coach and took the kids out to eat at food that I realized that he was doing a lot of that out of his own pocket.
I think what he helped us most with was, between the years and a lot of the mental game and, making sure that we all know golf's not a game of perfect. There are going to be some mistakes. I still remember, water off a duck's back. You're going to have a bad hole, and it's all about how you recover. And, it's a team game. You can't just, you have a bad hole, you can't fold it all in and, just, give up on the day.
Clem's faith is a big part of his life. Every practice, before practice would start, we would get in a circle, take your hats off, and he would lead the team in an Our Father or Hail Mary.
I think Clem, there's, faith, family, and I think sports is up there too.
He also kind of taught us, you can't play good golf if you're not like a good person and you have some of your other affairs in order. Make sure you go to church, get your homework done, be a good son. And I think, that translates to, all aspects of life. Just be a good person.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clem Richardson. And his snarl.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. And thanks to Chip and Mike. I don't know where Mike, oh, you came back. No, he didn't. He must have snuck out. That's pretty funny, though. I guess a couple of explanations about the video. One of my nicknames is the Hog. If you were back there, you saw my hog putter. And if I ever made a birdie, which is very infrequently now, I would give it a snort. So, and then Hansi took the blame for the one stroke, but all 6 golfers that day all hit it behind the same tree. We made bogey. Every guy on the team made bogey or double bogey on that hole. And if any one player on that team had shot one shot better, we would have gone to the state championship. So it's not all your fault, Hansi, but you did play your part. And then one final thing, they're talking about my lovely wife, Barbara, but that was a picture of, she deserves it, but that was a picture of me and my mother. And and let me just say this, that Georgia, my mother, introduced me to golf when I was 5 years old, but I was just tagging along with my 2 oldest sisters that she took as Girl Scouts out to the golf course, right, the range over there. So girls didn't like it. I loved it, and I stayed with it. What a privilege it is to be honored as this Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Famers, especially Gary Figueroa, who voted for me. I want to thank you for including me in this. I want to also thank our fellow inductees. I think you got an idea. We really have a special class this year. Thank you to all those guys, and thank you. And then I want to shout out also to all of my family, my friends and coaches and players who came to celebrate with me today. How about it? Okay, so thank you to so many. I'll start with Barbara, my beautiful wife, who supported me and allowed me to spend as much of my life with kids. She actually gave me my first coaching job. If you saw the picture back there of me pointing, that was at 5- and 6-year-old kids playing soccer, and the veins are popping in my neck. So, but it was a sport that we knew next to nothing about. I want to thank my children, Kelly, Polly, and Jack. And I got to get out of the office. I worked with a bunch of workaholics. I was one. But I got to be with coaching all of their teams, so I got to be part of them and all of their friends through coaching and through sports. I want to also thank my friends, my bosses, my partners, Tom and Steve Church, who have supported me unwaveringly at work, allowing me to do all these silly things that I've been doing. Not stupid, silly. I want to also recognize my buddy Ron Gigg back there. We had a ball coaching softball, and I think we coached for about 5 years together. We had a great time, and we had a lot of success doing it, but I don't think we played an inning. It was all the girls that came, and we loved, and I think that's part of coaching. You know, if you love the kids, they'll do everything for you, especially the girls. I also want to thank Bruce and Linda Taylor and Dan and Liz Bozo. I used to do the radio announcing for Palma football, and they came up to me after a game and said, our kids are real good, they're juniors, We have a change in coaching. Don't trust the guy that's going to coach. Do you mind coaching? And at that point in my life, I is that it? I exceeded my time limit already? Oh, geez. I thought that piano music would be different than that. But they got me started in that career, which has been a ministry that has blessed me in so many ways. I also want to thank fellow Hall of Famer Terry Sonicson and the many Notre Dame girls who put up with me through my dozen years there as her assistant. And maybe she's not back from Mass yet, but she's going to Mass. Oh, she did make it back. Thank you, Terry. For my golf playing career, I especially need to thank another Hall of Famer, Jim Langley, two-time qualifier for the PGA Tour, and he was generous beyond measure, for showing me my potential and how to build a swing that works under pressure. And I also want to thank Bob Pegas and Jerry Greenfield, two pros at Corral de Terra, who guided and supported me in my effort to compete for years. And of course, my favorite best ball partners, Chip Campion over there and David Gill, who's playing in a tournament today. Also, thanks to another Hall of Famer, Steve Clayton, who hired me, and now George Gottnaga over there, a generous, beyond measure Palma head coach, and all the assistant coaches who helped me, our boys, along the way. Kurt Dillard, who couldn't be there today, the aforementioned Mr. Mike Kling, Chip Campion, John Oliverio, who's since passed away, Kurt Montgomery and Kim Cater, both here today, Jack Tardu and Hansi, who did the video, thank you guys, and the many dads and others who have given tons of time and direction to our programs. I thank the many Palma golfers who trusted in our direction and work together to achieve high levels of excellence, individually and collectively. If you have to be one of the top 3 teams in Central Coast section to go to the NorCals, we went to the NorCals 6 times in a row, and I think 10 out of 13 years. So we had a lot of good players come through, and it was, rewarded me beyond measure. Sports have allowed I thank the many Palma golfers who trusted in our direction. Did I just say that? High levels of excellence, individually and collectively. Sports have allowed me to learn from the best, to reach beyond my ability, and to guide others in their pursuit of athletic excellence. The coaching piece has been a ministry for me to participate in raising respectful, hardworking, honest, and caring teammates. My 3 sports basics: have fun, do your best, and learn something. Thank you.
All right, another great one. Our next inductee is E.J. Rowland. E.J.'s incredible basketball career started at Palma. He had brief stops at Cal State Dominguez Hills, then 1 year at Hartnell, where in his only season he was Coast Conference Player of the Year and first team All-State. He was recruited by St. Mary's and was a starting point guard for 2 seasons, helping the Gales to a 25-9 record and an NCAA tournament berth, the first of Coach Randy Bennett's career. In his 2 seasons at St. Mary's, he started in 57 of 63 games, averaging 12.1 points while shooting 42% from the field. Started his pro career with the Florida Flames, an NBA developmental league in Fort Myers. Overall, he had a 20-year pro career that spanned 4 continents: North America, Australia, Europe, and Asia, with 17 teams. The American-born Bulgarian joined the St. Mary's coaching staff in 2024, and in April of 2026 joined the coaching staff at Arizona State. Career highlights include 2008 member of the Atlant Dragons, 2013 VTB United League, the Premier League in Russia scoring champion. He was the member of the VEF Riga, that's the VTS United League champions. Also in 2013 with the United League playoff MVP and Hall of Fame inductee in 2019. And I believe we have another video for EJ.
First off, I would like to congratulate everybody else being honored tonight and their families, because it's a group award. I know in sports, there's so many people behind the scenes, and that's even in the households, right? So I'm sure a lot of people are there in the building. I'm sure their families are smiling tonight and being able to have this something lasting that signifies the work and the commitment and honors their success. So congratulations to everybody in the building. In pursuit of sport, especially a sport like basketball, you spend so much time um, on your quest, on your journey, right? And so from me entering high school as like a 5 foot undersized, underweight guard to eventually becoming a professional and becoming an MVP of certain leagues and a Hall of Fame player, it's like when they talk about 10,000 hours, it's like that's probably an understatement, right? So getting these kind of recognitions feels great. It's like validation for the work you put in, but also more so cool that my family and our name will be somewhere forever and that my sons will be able to go and see it and know that their dad wasn't just making up stories. In regards to speaking to kids and youth, it's just understand that being great at sport or anything takes work and an exceptional commitment. Also understand that life principles equate to success on the court. So being a good person, treating people the right way, um, being a leader, going above and beyond in all facets of life, it all translates. So from my mother being my biggest supporter, also one of the strongest people I know, right? I've seen her face countless obstacles, attack things head on, not complain, find a solution. And I think those are all qualities that, or things that apply to sport as well, right? So I think it does translate to real life and just watching her navigate her journey from health issues to just whatever. It makes it difficult to make excuses for yourself. So I assume that she'll be in the building, and I want her to know that I appreciate her. I love her. When people talk about idols, she would be she would be at the top of my list, right? My dad as well, who was my first and foremost, he was a dad for me and many others in our community. So when you talk about strength, when you talk about leadership, when you talk about toughness, when you talk about a pure heart trying to do things the right way, right or wrong, um, these are the examples that I had. And when I talked about me being a 5 foot kid entering high school, and I was telling everybody I was going to be a Division I player, and it just sounds so crazy to everyone. That belief and that you kind of have to be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Delusional, right? He would have been the main one putting the battery in my back. So, and then my sister always being supportive, who also became an athlete as well, my sister Jasmine, and she was on like the North I teams that won the CCS and all that. To my extended family throughout Monterey County and beyond, I just had a tight unit that I'm appreciative for, and I wouldn't have changed it for anything. Now, if I extend that as well, coaching, so from Coach Ryan Critchfield at Palma, and I'm proud to be an alumni of like a Palma Chieftain, to one of the most influential men in my life, Frank Carbajal at Hartnell, who at the time challenged me in all the ways that I needed to take the next step and prepare me for really life, just being a young man in the world. To Coach Randy Bennett, who offered me a scholarship, developed me into a pro, really, and then also just hired me when I retired from my professional career and hired me at St. Mary's, and now I'm with him at Arizona State. But those relationships and those influences extend far beyond just the basketball court. And so there's many others to Wayne Garnett, and when I was still at Seaside High, to different coaches that I've come across, but those would definitely be ones that I peg as super influential to me. I would definitely have loved to be there. I mentioned being at Arizona State now, and this is we're going into our first season, and it's all hands on deck. This is a recruiting weekend. It'll just be a lot going on to where I can't make it, but congratulations to everybody being honored. I'm really appreciative. I'm honored. I'm thankful. I can't wait to bring my sons and my wife to see it. And I just hope everybody has a good night.
And we're fortunate enough that we've got a few words from his idol. Go ahead, Rowland.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Glorietta, EJ's mom. I want to express my appreciation and just relate that EJ is very honored and thankful and grateful to be of this acknowledgement and to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm so very excited for him. Of course, his dad and I used to argue who was his number one fan. And I think I probably won. But I also want to express my gratitude and thankful for the support of the family who are here with me today and the friends. I appreciate you all, my daughter Jasmine and my 2 grandchildren who have been so patient today. So I thank you all. This is really an honor. I'm really excited and very impressed for all the other inductees here. And I would just like to share that with EJ's 20-year career overseas, I had so much fun traveling every year. Just great. So thank you all very, very much. As EJ said, he would love to be here. He's had some exciting transitions. He just had my 4th grandchild last month, so we're very excited about that. So thank you again. It takes a village. Thank you, Salinas, for everything.
All right, our next inductee, we have Evan Blake Smith, 2004 Salinas High graduate, enjoyed a 10-year career in the NFL. He began in 2009. He spent 5 years as an offensive lineman for the historic Green Bay Packers, no big deal. And during that time, he was a member of the 2010 team that defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. He went on to play another 5 years for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and retired in 2019. Prior to his NFL career, he received a full-ride scholarship to Idaho State. I believe that's the Vandals, right? Where he played 45 games. Evan served as the Bengals team captain, was named MVP, was a weightlifting champion. He also earned all-conference honors 4 years in a row. Graduated in 2009 with a degree in sports management before being signed by the Packers. During his football career as a Cowboy at Salinas High, Smith earned numerous careers, including the Golden Helmet Award, MVP, Athlete of the Year. He was also named All-County Lineman by the Salinas Californian, and the Monterey Herald, earned all league honors as both offensive and defensive lineman, and was a member of the varsity team that won the 2001 CCS Division I championship. Let's give a big round of applause for Evan Blake Smith.
That's a bad mistake. No, you're good. No, Idaho State, not the Vandals. We don't mess with those guys, but they are in our conference now. So I just want to thank everybody here for coming out and showing. Thank you to the committee for putting me up on this for this award. It is truly an honor. I've been blessed to be able to go and participate at sports at the highest level for a good portion of my life. But I would not be where I was today without the people that supported me, my coaches, my parents, my friends, and one of the best things about this induction is I'm getting inducted in front of my freshman football coach, Paul MacDonald. Get it up for Coach Mac. So I might not be where I am today if it wasn't for Coach Mac, right? So my freshman year, we're sitting there and we're out for freshman football, and my favorite player at the time was Emmitt Smith, right? E. Smith, that was my initials. I wanted to be a running back. So I remember we're sitting there, it's like first day, you know, we're all running around position groups and everything like that, and I go over there by the running backs and everything, and, you know, here's Mac over there with the running backs. He goes, Smitty, what are you doing over here? I was like, Coach, I'm going to be running back. He's like, the hell you are? Get on down there with the hoggies. And I sad panded my way back, like, you know, hang my head down, and you know, that was my illustrious career as a running back, shot down, you know, right before it ever could start. So, but no, Coach Mac, I mean, even my Pop Warner coaches, the Colts and Broncos, that experience. But really, you know, my path to where I ended up being started in high school. You know, Coach Mac was obviously he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. Highly influential. I mean, you know, when I was on that team, I think we had 90 kids. And, you know, I was only allowed to play one side of the ball at that point. And then my next year, we got up to sophomore year, we had about 45 guys, and I got to play for one of my favorite coaches, Mike Bissell. And Bissell was a legend in the Salinas High football. If any of you guys played Salinas High football and got to play for Mike Bissell, you probably still hear him yelling at you in your sleep. You know, Bissell's thing is, you know, you found out that Mike Bissell was in Enter the Dragon. It was a Bruce Lee movie. And, you know, my brother used to tell me about it. We ended up watching the movie, and he's in there for 2 seconds getting roundhouse kicked in the face by some guy. So, but Bissell was like legit martial artist. It was awesome. But then what really started is, you know, I got to my junior or my sophomore year, I got brought up to varsity. I think that was the second year that Marc Ironside and Harry Swaggart and Richard Udo had taken over the varsity program. And, you know, we won CCS that year. And then the next year was my first year as a junior. And we moved up the division, and we ended up losing to Bellarmine in the semifinals. You know, I think we would give, what was it, Valley Christian a run for their money in that one, but I don't know. They had, I think Mariucci's son was a quarterback at that time. So, but we, you know, they taught me some very important lessons. One, you got to show up. They always had stuff going on for football. They always had a place for me to be. You know, I consider Harry, honestly, about my second father for as much as he's done for me in my life. Marc, too. I mean, those guys, they took me to football camps. They took me to the Nike combines. They took me to the Stanford, at a Stanford football camp. You know, and then, you know, all of a sudden I started getting all these letters stacking up in my, you know, at my house, and, you know, one after another. And all of a sudden coaches started showing up, and I'm like, you know, I guess I'm pretty good. I didn't know at the time. You know, it was all brand new to me. You know, like for me, especially as an offensive lineman, like, you know, accolades and awards aren't really something that I'm like, yeah, you know, for me, it's more of a, hey, I am just excited to be here. I guess I am also excited to get out of here. So, all right. But just understand this, sports in general, what this is about, the Hall of Fame, the recognition, everything, all the people here, everybody that's been inducted into sports, all this comes with a story. All these come also, every story that it comes with a village of people that help those people get up on that wall. So thank you to everybody that helped me out. Thank you to all the people that supported me through my career and everything that I got to do. And thank you, everybody, for having me out here and inducting me into this. So thank you again for the committee. Appreciate everybody, and have a great night.
I want to thank Evan for having some grace on me. I know how offensive that can be. That the state, the not state, if you confuse my old squad, those could be fighting words. So appreciate that very much. We're getting to the home stretch, guys. We've got some great ones still ahead of us, though. Our next inductee is Tyrone Ward. There we go. Yes. As a freshman at Alisal, Tyrone stood just 4 feet 11 inches tall, but steady growth, eventually carrying him to height of 6 foot, put him on the path to greatness in football and track and field. By his senior year, Ward was his football team's MVP, postseason All-Star Game MVP. On the track, he left his mark as one of LaSalle High School's all-time greats, ranking 4th in the triple jump and 5th in the long jump. Ward continued his two-sport dominance at Hartnell College, where he became a 3-time JUCO All-American. Once in football, twice in track and field. He was a conference champion in the long jump in '99 and 2000, the 4x400 relay in '99 and 2000, and the 400-meter hurdles in 2000. Known for his extraordinary versatility, Ward routinely competed in 5, sometimes 6 events in a single meet. It's insane. He remains among Hartnell's all-time leaders, ranked number 1 in 400 hurdles, number 1 and number 2 in the 4x400 relay, and the number 2 in the long jump, number 5 in the 400 meters, number 9 in the 4x100, and number 11 in the triple jump. His talents earned him Division I scholarship offers from both football and track. He accepted a track scholarship from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he went undefeated in the 400 meters throughout his career there. He was the 2002 and 2003 Big West Conference champion in both the 400 meters and long jump. Ward remains Cal Poly's long jump school record holder at 26 foot, 7.75 inches, number 6 all-time in the 400 meter at 46.57, and in 2002 he placed 8th in the long jump at the USA Track and Field Championships and was named Cal Poly Athlete of the Year. In 2018, he was inducted into the Hartnell Athletics Hall of Fame. His journey from a 4'11" freshman to a world-ranked athlete and record holder stands as a testament to the power of sheer determination, perseverance, and growing. Without any further ado, Tyrone Ward.
Goodness gracious. You can breathe now. You can breathe. Goodness gracious. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to read from here just to stay within my time so I don't get music. But before I do, Coach Mac is amazing. As a surrogate person, he taught me humility. And I wasn't even an athlete. I was a person who competed against him. So I really appreciate you, Coach Mac, really do. He's just an awesome human being. So now time to read. And I really am going to read. All right. Thank you, everyone. So one of the first steps for us inductees was to approve our About Me that goes on our plaque. And as I was reading what was originally written for me, and don't get me wrong, it was written beautifully. However, the message that I continuously got was, what if? Almost, could have, and if only. And although I know that I have maybe a quarter of the accolades that the person who went before me just came up here and went, but Coach Mac and all of the other inductees in this illustrious Hall of Fame, I would much rather be remembered for the accolades that I achieved by overcoming all the hurdles, difficulties, and adversities placed in my way that the majority of people never had to face or will face in their life. Things like, I was born with this extremely bad scoliosis that still affects me to this day, like really bad. I wore those Forrest Gump leg braces for a few years as a toddler. I never knew my father, well, biological father. I love you, Pops. I lived the majority of my childhood on welfare and government assistance. I had to get a job 1 week after my 16th birthday. Jim Scatini, the guy that you saw in that video, he hired me, and I started less than 1 week after my 16th birthday. So, Jim, thank you for that first job. And I had to get that job to help pay rent and bills within my household. From the ages of 8 to 19, I rarely ever saw my mother because she worked graveyards. And when she was awake, I was asleep. And when I was home, she was asleep because she had to work. As a result, my brothers and I, we had to fend for ourselves for dinner. The majority of the time, our dinners consisted of peanut butter sandwiches. Maybe once or twice a week, we had top ramen. And once a month, we would treat ourselves to a fancy sit-down dinner where we would really pull out things other than paper plates, and we would have hamburger helper. I was caught in the middle of 4 shootouts, literally walking and gang violence on both sides, and people started shooting on both sides. I was in the midst of 5 drive-by shootings on the way walking home just from school. In kindergarten, There were 19 kids my age in the apartments that I grew up in. And Pops, you know this. There are only 6 of us left. The people who passed away, that's my daughter, by the way. The people who passed away, they passed away from gang violence and drugs. And there's so much more that I could share with you, I mean, aside from my crying daughter, that could exemplify my point here. But I'm not here, and I don't say all of this for pity. I say all of this to inspire anyone who has the cards stacked against them. Regardless of all of the crap that I lived through, the people that got me here are far more important to me than any achievement that I've had. None of it would have been possible without any of them. First and foremost, like you, Coach, it's God. I couldn't have done anything without my Savior. The next is my fierce mother, who some of you knew. God rest her soul. Despite her unconventional ways, she raised and created a strong, resilient, and good man that stands before you today. To my brother Michael, who inadvertently created this burning desire in me to get the hell out of his shadow. The anger that created fostered a drive in me to work harder than everyone else every single day. So thanks, big bro. And also, Coach Rear, that anger that you saw in me as a 4'11" freshman, that's what you were looking at. To Coach Shaw, to Gary Shaw, the great, God rest his soul. I don't care about the music, I'm gonna keep going. When literally no human on earth believed in me, my mother and brother included, Coach Shaw did. Thank you, Coach. My bonus parents, Pops, you've helped raise me over the last 42 years. I love and appreciate you, and you've always been there for me, so thank you. To my wife and kids, I know you guys weren't around to see the things that got me to stand up here today, but I just want you to know that I promise to be better as a father and as your husband than I was as an athlete to get here. Next, thank you to the committee, more specifically, Mike Corlett and his family. They've been fantastic and amazing and have loved me since they met me day one. I am grateful for you and the committee. Lastly, words of encouragement for anyone attempting anything. Your success is based on 4 things. These are the same 4 things that got a poor, too slow, unathletic, too small, and feeble boy who will never play sports. Those are things that were told to me as a child. So, to overcome all of that, number 1, make a decision to accomplish it. It doesn't matter what it is. Number 2, believe that you can do it, even if no one else does. Number 3, work harder than everybody else. Number 4, do the work, no matter what, no excuses. Do those 4 things, and you'll achieve any goal you set. Because, look at me, I'm standing up here. Thank you.
I told you guys, just every single one, it's just getting more and more. And now we're almost to the end of the evening. And with that, if you're going to try to top it, you might as well bring in a whole team. And that's what we're going to do here. The 1979 Salinas High School football team, they had a ride through the Central Coast section, open division playoffs that reached legendary status. That's why we're here today, still celebrating them. The Cowboys won their semifinal game on the last play of the game, lost the championship game on the last play of the game, lost by 1 point. They went 8-0-1 in the regular season, were seeded into a playoff division that consisted of 12 league champions and 4 at-large teams. Cowboys' postseason journey began with victories over undefeated teams from North Monterey County, North Salinas. Next up was the semifinal game against yet another undefeated squad and top-seeded defending champion Oak Grove. The Eagles featured future NFL coach Marty Morningwig, who had passed for just 2,094 yards and 27 touchdowns in the regular season in high school. With 7 seconds left on the clock and the game tied at 29, place kicker Javier Leal helped the Cowboys upset. There we go. Okay, yeah. We'll drop some names in here. He helped the Cowboys upset the Eagles with a game-winning field goal as time expired, 32-29, the final score there. That set up the title game between Salinas and perennial power St. Francis of Mountain View. Cowboys took a 22-16 lead with 1:25 to play on a 78-yard drive, but St. Francis responded with a desperation drive of its own, scored the winning touchdown on the final play with a 17-yard touchdown pass for a 23-22 win. But nobody remembers that. We remember so much more, and we actually have a video to honor this 1979 Salinas football team.
So being a part of the 1979 Salinas High Cowboy football team was a wonderful experience. When you're part of a team that, that works so hard and then you have success on the field, it's just, extremely gratifying.
It was like a family. A lot of deep love for everybody, and everybody went to work for everybody. It was a team effort, so to speak.
Everybody just got along, and practices were fun. I mean, most people were out there, early, just getting ready for the day, and it just all just gelled. It was good.
We had little to no expectations at the beginning of the season. I mean, who could? But this team, through the course of 16 weeks, maybe by the middle of the season when we were 5-0, started to think that maybe this could go someplace.
If we didn't have the coaching, we wouldn't have been where we were.
I could see how, our coaches, how many hours they put into it that I probably didn't appreciate as a player. They would put together these little packets for each week. And so they would put on here, a little snippet about, how last week went. And then they got keys for the upcoming week, as far as, what the other team does, what we need to do to counteract it.
Everybody did their job. If they didn't, we would have had a breakdown. We practiced that way, and everybody gave 110% every time. That's what made us so successful.
And although our coaches constantly reminded us that we were not the biggest, strongest, fastest, or greatest athletes, and therefore we had to execute in order to beat people. And because we had superior coaching, we were able to execute, and we beat teams we shouldn't have beaten.
Our semifinal game against Oak Grove, that game did come down to a field goal. And so that was a tie game with time running out, no timeouts left. And the field goal unit had to run out onto the field with seconds left. And they had to execute, under pressure. And as the ball was hiked and the hold and the kick, and it was going through the uprights, literally the clock had counted down to 0. And so that field goal sent us off to the championship game.
We were a small group of guys. In fact, when we played in the playoffs, I remember looking across the field, Oak Grove High School, and we looked like a little Pop Warner team next to a college team. We were small, but we were quick, and everybody worked together to make a cohesive unit, and that's what made us successful.
We shouldn't have beaten Oak Grove. You put out the rosters and you say, what's the over-under on, what's the betting line on this? Salinas High would not be favored to beat Oak Grove.
They hadn't lost a game in 2 years. And so we went in to their house and we beat them. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the whole game because I took a shot, friendly fire, and in the back, it was carted off on a stretcher. But I heard in the ambulance on the way that we had won. I ended up coming back and playing the next week.
We had no egos on the team. Everybody just did their best job. And, we gelled as a team. And That's why we won as a team, and it's one of my favorite teams that I've ever played on.
I would do anything for my brother, and they'd do anything for me, I'm sure. When we get together, it's like I've never lost any time.
I've been on hundreds of teams, coached hundreds of teams, and this was one of two teams that I felt was the embodiment of what a team is.
I'd want to thank the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame Committee for this incredible honor of including our team with all the other incredible teams and athletes in the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame.
It's a definite honor to be inducted into the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame. No doubt about it.
On behalf of the 1979 Salinas Cowboys high school football team, we're happy to accept the award to be inducted into the class of 2026 Salinas Valley Hall of Fame. Thank you.
And with that, let's give a big round of applause for the 1979 Salinas football team, and please come up and join us. Paul Moreno is going to be speaking on their behalf. We've got a fair amount of hardware up here for him as well. It's got half the crowd.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Marino, and just thank everybody for being here. And I really want to thank the committee. We are honored and really grateful. And if you can see, all these guys traveled all across the United States to be here, and how important it is. And I gave some of my time to Clem too. I want you to know that. This just didn't start in 1979. It started in 1976 for the seniors and 77 for the juniors. And let me go back a little bit here. I want to thank our parents, the dedication they did, the time they spent with us, and loved us, cared for us, taught us discipline, began on this journey, and then we came into, go back to junior high. A lot of us used to go to the pit, sit in the end zone, and watch the games, dreaming to be there someday, and then walking around, and Coach Welsh and Coach Burris were the varsity coaches at the time. And those guys were like legends to you. As a kid, you think, maybe someday I'll get to play for them, And we did, And Chuck Felice came later, another Hall of Fame coach. Coach Welsh, Hall of Fame coach. The JVs were coached by, we were coached by Gary Afonso, Phil DiGeronimo, Ken Dean, and Gino Favaro, our freshman year. Same with the juniors. And the juniors had Al Borges, who was in this Hall of Fame, offensive coordinator in many big schools, colleges. We had our JV coach was Steve Ponzi. He was a Green Beret Vietnam vet who was very tough. So we had some really tough coaches, right? He had Kurt Huckabee as assistant and Frank Mesa. But then our coach is still coaching. He called me the other day, and he was kind of telling me what to say today, right? And he's always going to coach me. And I think for all of us, we have nothing but respect for him still to this day. And we didn't know, I go back and think it was 47 years ago today, we were doing double days. 47 years ago, right? And they weren't easy practices at Salinas High, I'll tell you that, under them. They were old school, right? They were disciplined, they were tough. There was a lot of work involved. There was a lot of game watching, film watching. There was a lot of preparation, and we were prepared. As you heard our guys talk, we weren't. We were always told our opponents were bigger, faster, better athletes. So you're going to tell us, you're going to tell a kid that, right? And we went out and played our hearts off. And I know that last game that we unfortunately lost was You know, we left nothing on that field that day. It was December 14th when we were finished, right? It was a long, grueling season. And, you know, we were, unfortunately, we lost. But you know what it taught? It teaches you in life, and that's what football was. We found out later what Coach Welsh instilled in us, right? And his coaching staff and his program was work hard, have perseverance, don't give up, keep moving. And I know for myself and many others that have had successful careers, it's a lot of that reason is because of that. Also want to, you know, say one thing. George Watkins wrote a hell of an article back in 2014, I believe it was. The Salinas High team was going to the CCS playoffs. He was getting ready to retire, and he stated, we'll do it again. And he talked about the playoff game, but then he did say, his first year was 79, and he saw us, and he said in the 35 years that he did the reporting that this was the best team he'd ever seen at Salinas High in this area. So, and it was the last year in 1979 that the CCS was just one big division. That's all it was. And so we got to finish off, and we played some great games. We had a lot of fun, and we all got along very well. There was no fighting. There was nothing of that going on unless Coach Burris would, you know, every now and then, if we were slacking, he would let us go at it, you know. So we're just honored. We had a great coaching staff, and that's why we're here today. So thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause for this great team, all the inductees tonight. If you were one, we'd love for you to come up here. Going to get a picture with everybody as they get their medals here. But thanks so much for letting me be a part of this evening. Such a privilege. Thank you so much for all the support, and thanks for the community, and we'll see you again next year.